Hi, we're back. This is Wino Wednesday. Leslie Bowles. Okay, you're back. What do you think?
I am so happy to be back. You know it.
When you left, were the last guests when you left Jonathan and Bruce Bozzi from the farm?
No, that was in March. I left in April, and I came back briefly in May, at the end of May. But, you know, I've been missing Jonathan, of course.
Who doesn't? He's got the coolest stuff going, and he's brought in today a very special guest, Johnny Mundell, who reps a bunch of fabulous whiskeys.
And who wants to start a fire in the studio.
Yeah, we're wondering about
He
that.
was talking about that right before we started, and now at the end of the show, he might get a chance.
Okay, so let me tell you why I want to start a fire. Because saying that I want to start a fire without giving it
Hopefully
proper...
no one in the office is listening.
But without giving it proper reason, is that doesn't really... It's out of context. The reason I want to start a fire is when we make whiskey, we start off with barley. We malt that barley, which is how we get the sugar out of it. Now, during the malting process, we've got to kiln dry that barley. Now on Islay, which is on the very far west coast, you use a substance called peat. Now you'll see Jonathan on the website chewing a block of peat.
If you look at the indie webpage, you can see Jonathan Mitchell, who runs the Palm Steakhouse 9001, Santa Monica Boulevard, West Hollywood, chewing on peat. Or
chewing on peat.
Is he really chewing? Can you chew it? Is
yes,
it too...
it's, you please
right.
indulge yourself.
Yeah, because it's where we get peat moss.
So this is a fuel. This is essentially the peasant fuel of Scotland. Traditionally, most whiskey was peated. Now, you'll hear a lot of people that drink in Scotch say, oh, it's too peaty. Very few distilleries actually use peat. Speyside whiskies, I think there's one or two that use just a very small portion of peat. Now, what peat does is, when we're malting the barley, we have to dry the barley out. If you use a peat fire to do that, the smoke from the peat attaches itself to the husk of the grain. And that smoky flavour carries itself through into the new make spirit, and then into the whiskey maturing in the casks. So Islay whiskies are world renowned for being peated and for being smoky. The second thing they're known for is having salt sea air. If you look, Liz, at this very small map that I'm showing you.
Well, Scotland's a very small country.
There is Islay on the southwest corner. Now if you imagine all that hot, tempestuous weather that you guys hear about in the news in the Gulf of Mexico.
And we do.
You do.
Of course.
Imagine that jumps out the Gulf and it goes northeast. Or northeast. I'm sorry, I was dyslexic for a second. It hits Scotland straight away. The Scottish nation is, on latitude is almost, it's like southern Alaska. But we don't get those cold things that you get in Alaska because we have this hot weather coming up off the Gulf. So, on Islay, it rains a lot. It's wet. These people sit around fires. In the winter, they have hardly any sunlight, and they drink this fine whiskey. Now, it's smoky.
And they shouldn't ever drive.
They don't have to drive, because they live on a small island. It's 2.5 hours on today's boat to the mainland. And then from the mainland to Glasgow, it's 3.5 hours going at high speed in my mum's car. It's pretty far away. It's pretty out there.
Yeah.
In fact, Bowmore was in the mid-1500s, Bowmore was the centre of its own kingdom. A guy called the Lord of the Isles was in charge of this whole west coast. Imagine a whole Viking throwback. Some of these peninsulas on the west coast you can't get to by today's car, you have to go to by boat still. So it's very cut off over there. So they do things the old way over there.
We're going to post the map of Scotland on the indie page.
Please,
yeah.
and again, I urge you, please go there and spend your money. Our economy would be grateful.
Jose, did you smell this stuff?
Everyone needs to try
so what you're drinking right now is a Bowmore 15-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. So you're getting that peat flavour coming through. You're also getting the salty sea flavour coming through. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And that's because all the warehouses at Bowmore are actually on the ocean. So that salty sea air that blows in every day.
There's literally salt water in this.
No, there's not really salt water.
It's a salt in the air. It's part of the gestalt of the product.
I need a thesaurus. What?
I said gestalt is 2 syllables. It's 2 syllables. You were parsimoniously perspicacious.
Did you just say? Sorry, keep going, Johnny.
Did we mention that the national flower of Scotland is thistle?
Yeah, we did.
Just want to make sure we mention that.
I'm about to go and sit with the interns and have a drink because you guys are just way too.
I can't believe you're talking about gestalt.
This is frustrated love. I'm honestly, I'm sitting between two people that are so frustrated in their relationship with each other.
Crazy.
Aren't they?
If you've ever been to Scotland, you know that it all smells like this peat everywhere you go. And there's always there's a border collie on everybody's front doorstep.
Jonathan's talking about love. Liz is talking about peat.
Yeah.
You know, for the love of Pete. You know.
There you go.
This is what you've done today. Is you tried the two polar opposites of Scotch. You started off in Speyside with Glengrant and Glenrothes, which are
Glengarry.
for me, if they were a person, they were a posh hippie. They grew up with a trust fund. They believe in free healthcare for all because they don't know the value of earning money for themselves. And then you've tried Isla whiskies, which are religious fundamentalists with guns in the basements. The people of these places are nothing like I'm describing. I just want you to understand how opposite whiskies can be, and in fact, the whiskies we've tried today are the polar extreme of the spirit world.
I've learned a lot about American history because I always thought hippies were poor. The hippies I remember growing up basically were were poor, like they were bumming money off you to buy a bag of weed. Now they have trust funds and stuff. I never knew that, but that's something.
But if you have a trust fund, you can afford to be a hippie. That's the whole point.
But you wouldn't because you're rich, so you don't bother do you?
But maybe
Still
they
follow the
ran
Grateful
away
Dead?
from their families and they're just kind of denying that part of themselves, that trust.
Okay. It's pretty interesting American history going on. What do you think, Jose?
Even runaways keep their trust fund.
Yeah.
Oh,
They keep their pin
is that right?
numbers and their cards, yeah.
Oh,
That's neat.
Look,
quote you on that.
We've all stolen.
Let's think
from our
of
parents.
We'll be here all week, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know.
Try the
But
fruit compost.
let's do plug all these things. I want people to go to the website, the Bowmore website, the Glen Rothes website, and hello, Glen Grant. I was watching some of these videos earlier, and one I was confused which one, but one has this posh gentleman.
That's right.
And he sounds like a Brit, and he's just going on about, well, this one is very, very nice, and you have to do this to appreciate it. And then the other one has a Scotsman with such a thick brr that they've got subtitles underneath him, so you can follow it. And then Bowmore has this lovely young lady. You can take a virtual tour, and she also needs subtitles. It's amazing. They're such great websites. You'll actually learn a lot. You'll learn how Scotch is made. But obviously, if you have questions, you can always email Mundell here, right?
Well, via you.
Yeah, Scotch questions, liquor questions, food questions.
Best way to get a hold of you,
Best way,
Jonathan?
always, is to stand outside and just scream my name, Jonathan. Jonathan. If I don't answer, then you can email jmitchell@thepalm.com. That'll work as well. You can use smoke signals.
And you've got a blog that we should know about.
Yeah.
Is that
If you
right?
go to my website, jonathanmitchell.com. There's all kinds of wine and stuff. I'm actually going to post this tasting and all these my Scotch notes from this today as well. And then you can obviously, if you find me at the Palm, thepalm.com. The email is jmitchell, JMITCHELL @thepalm.com. And then my
We've got
blog
a third
site.
giveaway. We've got a
Jonathan
winner.
Mitchell, yeah, we got a winner, right?
Tommy Blotnick won himself
Tommy.
a free tasting. It's our second winner. We got one more to go. You guys have to come up with another clever question.
I was thinking something like really bare bones. What does Glen mean?
Okay.
Oh.
I was wanting
We've
to say.
been talking about that.
I think you just Google that.
I wanted to go.
I know.
I wanted to make it about Liz and say,
No,
what's
no, no,
Liz's
no.
dog afraid of?
No.
What's Liz's dog afraid of?
Liz.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
See, you can't
No,
Google
no,
that.
And that was genius because that pulls in
The
palm
Where
as
the
well.
palm
They
is.
had to
All right.
listen to the show. It's brilliant.
Okay, let's answer it. Let's play one more song, and we'll come right back, and we'll say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to give you a
We'll sing
track
a song.
from one of the CDs I made, because I'm very, very excited about some of the new music that we've got going on.
What are you listening to these days?
Well, I played Amor Fati a little bit earlier with a song called Washed Out. We played Friendly Fires. We played James Blake. We played Pulp. See what I'm saying? See, now you're not quite so like Liz is an idiot. Let's do... What? Let's do track 16 on disc 22. On disc 2, this is Pink Martini. We are on a Wednesday on Indie1031.com with special guests Johnny Mundell and Jonathan Mitchell from the Palm and from any number of cool whiskeys. Glenrothes, Glengrant, and Bowmore. We'll be right back. What's the question again?
What is Liz's young dog afraid of on Santa Monica Boulevard that's next to the Palm Restaurant?
Very, very nice. We'll be right back.